Yeah, you should be here in about 1 second. Live stream is starting soon.
Yo, David, can you see me?
Um, yeah, I can see. Is this Alonzo talking?
Yeah, what up, man? How you been? Should we just all mute it? Or, like, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll mute it as soon as Rob gets in here and stuff like that. But until then,
Okay, yeah, I feel that.
we're starting broadcast. So this will be pretty interesting.
We can all
the
see each
YouTube
other.
the YouTube video. So, chat. I like the chat capabilities. I like that a lot. So let me see if I can enable that. Is this Alonzo talking?
Yeah, what up, man? How you been? Should we just all mute it? Or, like, that's really weird.
Yeah, we'll mute it as soon as Rob gets in here and stuff like that. But until then,
Okay, yeah, I feel that.
we're starting broadcast. Let's be.
Yeah.
I have it like streaming, and I have it broadcasting at the same time right now. This is
Okay. Dude, that really confused me for a second.
Right, absolutely. So you guys, we're on the same team now. I like this, man. I'm excited that we can all be working together for this Jeunesse thing. Are you guys doing well in your businesses right now, or what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing pretty well.
You're doing pretty well? You hitting ranks? You just enrolling, or where are you at right now?
Jade right now going for Pearl. I'll have 2 people signed up by the 20th, so then I just need to get like 2 more, and then just help everyone to get executive.
And then boom, there you go. Nice, man. That's good. And where are you living at right now?
I'm in New Mexico right now building, but I'm gonna head back to Tucson, Arizona. So.
Is that U of A?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool, yeah. Where you at in New Mexico? You like I imagine Albuquerque every time somebody says that, or Santa Fe.
Yeah, Albuquerque.
Albuquerque, Breaking Bad, huh?
Yeah, man. There's not much else out here, man, to be honest.
Okay. Not showing because it was canceled. Don't have an invite to the new one. Rob says that he can't get in here. So can you guys, when you guys send Rob this link again so he can hop back in?
Maybe there's too many people.
All right, somebody needs to drop out of this real quick.
I'll drop out. It's cool.
Okay.
I don't think that was it. You can have up to 8 people, I believe, on a Google Hangout.
Okay, so there's 6 of us right now. Rob, come back in.
Sir.
That'll be cool because this will be like a video. Can we edit this video on YouTube, like after it's uploaded, or no?
I'm sure there's ways around it. You just gotta find someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I have a film degree at Michigan State, so I could just we'll just re-download this video, cut off all this beginning stuff, and we'll re-upload it to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob sent us a photo. So all you guys do is just click the host link.
Dude, honestly, we just clicked on what Rob posted on the Jen Young page. I thought this was like just a live feed.
Yeah, the live feeds on YouTube is actually pretty cool. Hey, for anybody else on my squad who's on the YouTube channel, this is very interesting. Just remember to use this. We always use Click Webinar. Click Webinar runs like a dream. But I feel like the whole Google Plus utility is like not the most user-friendly thing. That's why it's.
Yo, was Rob ever able to get on?
No, I'm trying to. Yeah, there's like actually a YouTube link that should be streaming. And I think that he might have accidentally sent you guys the. Can somebody text Rob the link that you guys sent, please? Because my phone is not sending. He doesn't have an iPhone.
Do you want me? I
Okay,
can do
hold
it.
on.
Yeah. Do you want us just to like who do you want off the call? Obviously, So are you just trying to stream it and then have like Rob speak and then record it?
During group chat. Oh, cool. We got people in the group chat. This is awesome. Yeah. Well, Rob's supposed to be on here. It's like a strategy call. We had like a 45-minute call yesterday.
There, Rob got on. Cool.
And oh, there we go. Got him. So Rob, what we'll do with this is, yeah, if everybody can mute their mics, it'd be awesome. I'll end up just downloading this video from YouTube. I can put it into video editing software. I have a lot of good stuff from like when I got my film degree. I can just chop off this beginning stuff, and we can re-upload this to the YouTube channel. And I can send it out to you so you can put it on your YouTube channel as well.
Sounds good, brother. Let's get it going. Love it.
Okay, very cool. So with that, now we're good to go, guys. Perfect. And yeah, so this is a follow-up to a Uvu that Rob and I had yesterday. My thing was that in our previous venture, I like calling it that, our previous venture, we were young people, so we just were excited and we had the energy to be able to blow it up in the college market in our demographic, and that worked out for a while. But we didn't really have the mentorship that could teach us the principles of how to succeed in this industry right here. And one of the biggest things, one of the biggest reasons I joined Jeunesse is because I come from a long background of ROTC, so like a lot of like leadership military-wise, and I was in a fraternity here at Michigan State, so a lot of leadership that way too. Scotty, can you come in, please? And then what ended up happening was when I got into the previous venture, I didn't see that strong leadership. I didn't have mentorship. You know, a lot of the stuff was flashy, but nothing was really being talked about in terms of principles. When we talked to Lance and Rob down in Orlando, they really broke down for us the way this business is built, and they've seen tremendous success in this industry, and they've done it off principles over the course of 7 years, and they ended up, you know, they take their income and they spend it on you know, their teams, their families, and stuff like that, which are the reason that we feel so comfortable following them. So when I hit up Rob, just getting off from Singapore yesterday and the international convention, I was excited to say, you know, what have you learned at the convention, and for two, how can we finally learn from you? What principles can you instill in us? And we're so ready to eat. This is my buddy Scotty right here. He's an absolute killer too. This is somebody who's naturally good at sales, you know, a natural alpha male, and people like this and the squads that we have on our team are so eager to learn these principles and apply them to our team. So this is more for people. If you guys are on here and you fancy yourself as a killer, later on, Luke tonight has a strategy session with Rob, a 9 o'clock conference call talking about like the new members who are new to the network marketing industry. He's gonna be going over that. This is more of like a veteran conference call. The stuff that we did good back in our previous companies, and the stuff that we need to improve on now. You know, identifying our strengths and weaknesses, and then going forward from there with what's gonna help us succeed in Jeunesse. So with that, Rob, I'd love for you to take this away, man.
Thanks, man. So if everybody could mute their phones, I see there's a couple at the bottom that aren't muted. While I'm doing this, feel free to message each other and tell each other to mute so that we don't have any distractions or anything like that. And yeah, we're going to go over this is a call that applies to everybody. Everybody can use a lot of these same concepts that we're going to talk about, but this is more a call for people that have experience. If you don't have experience, that's okay. I still know you can apply a lot of these principles. I firmly believe our greatest strengths are our greatest weaknesses in this business, and I'm talking specifically to a group here, as this is for you, this is for your team, and so everyone else can apply it. I'm looking at two different groups inside of the whole movement that we have going on right now. And as I look at these two different groups, what I was telling David is you've got one group that their strength was just sheer recruiting, but it wasn't focusing on the duplication as well or the personal development. And I said to David, you guys in Michigan, which encompasses, I know, all over the world and many other parts, your guys' strength was really your personal development, your culture, but your weakness was you guys weren't recruiting monsters. And neither one's right or wrong. Both have strengths, both have weaknesses. The goal is to become the hybrid, to become great at both. And so to talk to you guys about that, let's understand both sides of the spectrum. As I'm talking to David, I said, you know, I talked to him about his specific group, and I said, you guys are so good at culture and personal development. But I said, think back to the very beginning when you started this industry. Some of you guys, maybe it was 6 months ago. Some of you, it was several years ago. I know we have people on this from multiple different backgrounds, different companies that have experience in the industry. But at the beginning, think how delusional you were. Think how delusionally optimistic you were. Like your goals were just so crazy. They were insane. You were so passionate. You thought, I can achieve anything. And because of that, you became recruiting monsters. And then as things got difficult, you got in what I call a defensive mindset. As things got difficult, you started to think in cannots rather than cans. You started to manage decline rather than think on upside. And so recruiting became very difficult in this business. And I'm talking recruiting all sorts of people. We've got retail customers, we've got preferred customers, we've got obviously people that want to make a little bit of money, people that want to make a lot of money. So recruiting is a general term. But my point is you got to go back to the beginning. If you want to think like an average person, that's what most people have a job for. Think big. There's nothing wrong with thinking big. You should think big in anything that you do. You should stretch yourself. I almost feel like it's immoral or unethical to think small, because I believe that we were put on this earth, and this is my opinion, it's not fact, we were put on this earth for greatness. And when you strive for mediocrity, I feel like it's unethical. And so I think everybody needs to stretch themselves more, because that's what you're put on this earth for, is to progress. It's to utilize your God-given talents. And so with that said, what I said to David is I said, you guys got to go back to the beginning. You guys got to go back to when you were thinking really big and you were really excited and you were talking about all your dreams and your goals and you didn't know all the details. And look how extremely well you guys did. And 99% of your organization was from people that had never been a part of the industry. And I said, now what I feel like is many of you guys are talking to the same old people that were part of your previous companies or ventures. And that's okay. I understand you're connected and you got friends. But guys, 6 months from now, I expect us to have 95% or at least 90% of your people, your organization, people that have never been part of your groups before, people that have never been part of the industry before. That's when you've created a movement. That's when you've created success. And I know many on this hangout, that's when you guys had your success before, because you guys were focused on the new person. Most of you guys, it was your first experience in the industry. You got to get back to your roots. You got to get back to talking to brand new people. You got to get back to taking 3 people that have never done the industry before, and you tell them, look, I know exactly what I'm doing. I've done this for years now, or however long it is. These are people that have experience in the industry, and I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to teach you how to do this. And you give them the perspective. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And you give them the vision. You sell the vision. Everybody's always selling the 30 grand a month. Everybody has different experiences. Some people, you know, they have a customer experience and that's good enough for them. Other people that make $1,000 a month, that's hard to make. Residual income is almost impossible. I tell everybody, you know, I own a rental property. One of my rental properties, a couple $100,000, and I cash flow a couple $100 a month. You have $100,000 in the bank, you make $100 a month on average. So, guys, like, you have to understand the perspective on residual income, and you can sell the truth. The truth is good enough. So that's the first thing is I want everyone to go back to the very beginning, stop focusing on the same old people, stop being in management mode, stretch yourselves, talk to new people, talk to people that have never been part of your organization. That should be your focus. That's where you should spend 90% of your time. The next part to this topic that we were really talking about is the whole part-time versus full-time debate. As far as should I do this part-time or should I do this full-time? I'm a firm believer that almost everybody should be doing this business part-time, because there's a law, it's called the Parkinson Law, and you give somebody, whether it's a week to do a homework assignment or you give them 5 weeks, they usually are going to spend the exact same amount of time to do it, a week. Everybody works off of deadlines. I joke around and I tell my wife if she has 20 minutes to get ready or an hour and a half, she's going to use all the time she has, because we work off of deadlines. So every single one of you needs to realize that as you're doing this, that we all work off of deadlines. And most of you are out here wanting to live the dream, and you're the fake it till you make it. And what you do is you get on and you know, you're spending a lot more money than you're actually making. And what I want to teach you guys is financial responsibility. 99% of you should be doing this business part-time. I'm sorry if you guys just joined us and you're on the host line. If it shows your picture, make sure you mute your phone, because we can hear some background noise. We would appreciate that. Thanks so much. So as you guys are doing this, part-time should really be the focus as you guys are really building this. And part-time, it still means that you're doing this business full-time, because Think about it. Most of you guys that feel like you're doing this full time, even if you had a job where you were working 15 or 20 hours a week, you're going to work this business just as much. Just find a job if you can that's flexible, and take that money as you're doing this and use that as more money that you can invest and be responsible so that you're not going in debt in this business. And I understand, I'm not saying debt is bad. It's just, why not avoid it if you can? I understand there are different kinds of debt in this business, but I like to teach people to be smart with their money. I think a lot of people get more done when they have a part-time job because they value their time they have, and they get just as much done. It's the whole Parkinson law. So my strong suggestion is, even though it's painful and I know nobody wants a job and they want to sell a lifestyle, is I think it's powerful. Like Jim Rohn says, how powerful is it for you to say, I'm doing this business on the side and I make $1,000 a month, rather than saying, I do this full time and I make $1,200 a month. So it's a totally different story, and that would be my strong suggestion to everybody in this business. Even if you become a server at a restaurant and you're working 10, 15 hours a week, and whatever you make, extra for the month, if it's $700 a month, most of you could live off of $700 a month. So everything you make in this business becomes dessert. Whereas when this business is full-time, it becomes dinner for you. And when you make $700 a month, you start whining and you complain about it. And I hate that, and I get mad at that. This is not the quick fix business, guys. This is to create a legacy type income for those of you that are leaders in this business that have those kinds of goals. And in order to do that, you need to have a long-term perspective. If I hear people start complaining about how they're not making enough to pay bills, then we screwed up. You're not doing this business the right way. You got to have a paradigm shift. You got to understand what this business is and isn't. It's a residual income. Residual income is freaking hard. That's why very few people know it. People that are in network marketing, how many people do you know that have a big residual income? Doesn't matter their age. Very few people have a strong residual income. It's almost impossible to come by, and nothing worthwhile is easy. This isn't easy. Everything takes time. And so as you guys are in this business, I want you guys to have that perspective on the part-time versus full-time. And nobody should ever be whining they're not making enough from this, because if you can focus on this, focus on your job to pay your bills, this business to build your dreams, and you can focus on just getting better, and you can focus on helping other people and building this the right way, you no longer panic on how many times did I cycle, or I only made $600 this month. You're not stressed about it. You can go pro, as Eric Worre says, and you can be fully in and you can be fully committed. So I just want to make that really clear. I never want to hear any whining. I didn't make enough money. I can't make my rent. I can't pay for food. I can't pay for my car payment. Because if that's the case, you need to take full responsibility, and you need to suck it up, and you need to step it up, and you need to get a job. You shouldn't blame this industry. This industry is not set up for people starting out to go full-time. Now, if you have industry experience and you're crushing this, and you're at a different ballpark, and maybe your goal is to make $2,000 a month, and eventually it's much larger than that, well, great. Go make $2,000 a month for 3 months, and then at that point, decide if you want to quit your job or not. Maybe you can still do this part-time, and you can stash money away so that you can get ahead, so you can save money. Again, I'm teaching financial responsibility, guys. I'm teaching you guys to be leaders in this business. Working in this business is talking to new people, period. All the other stuff's the plan for the plan of the plan, and I'm not saying there isn't value. I'm not saying it's not important, but I tell people training doesn't work. Work trains in this business as you guys are doing this, and so I just want to make sure that when you guys are doing this business that you guys are really, really focusing on doing this thing the right way and making this thing happen. So super excited, really appreciative. That's just a quick high-level training as you guys are doing this. I'd hold each other accountable. I would make sure that as you guys are doing this, that you guys always focus on how many new people can I have at my meetings. New people includes retail customers, preferred customers. It includes people that want to make a little money, people that want to make a lot of money. New people are the lifeblood of this business as you are building an organization, as you are building a distribution channel. So with that said, guys, I would love to help answer any questions, and I know, David, you wanted to take it away after and kind of ask a few questions first. So I'll let you ask questions and tell me what I missed and what you'd like me to dive a little bit deeper into.
Yeah, Rob, that was actually great. I love that. Especially when you talked about having that part-time job. I mean, I think a lot of us went little because we were all in college, so we were going to school full time, which is like 12, 15 hours a week. And if you're not an absolute 4-point student, that can mean that you're only in class 15 hours a week and you're not doing a lot of studying. So when you go full time in this business, as we're segueing from college into the network marketing, I think it was easy for people to think they were going full time without doing what you just said, constantly exposing people. So I'm really glad that you kind of put in their minds that we should all be having full part-time jobs, even if not for the motivation of getting out of that job to build this business even more, which is something that we're excited about. That's what Scotty and I were just sitting here talking about, encouraging our teams and even us too, getting in that situation, even with 3 years of network marketing experience and some success. What I wanted to ask you about is momentum. I wanted to know that as we're going into full-time, so you meant that working is talking to people, of course, but yesterday we talked about what full-time looks like and how you should focus on influential leaders. And I don't want to go into like the 60, 40%, all that kind of stuff like we talked about yesterday. But you mentioned a really good metaphor about how you need to push the snowball to create the avalanche. So when we're doing this business and that little tiny, we should be doing, recruiting this much of our time and training this much of our time. So when we are training, how do we make the most effective time of our training time? And how do we know that what we are doing in our training time is actually effective? So what should we
Yeah.
do?
So there's red time and green time. Red time is the time when really nobody's available. And that's the time when you should be doing training. That's the time when you should be doing personal development. Green time is when it's prime time. That's when people are available, new people are available to contact. And so in this business, too many times people are during green time, they're making the plan for the plan, and they're doing personal development, and they're doing everything they can to avoid talking to new people, because let's face it, talking to new people is the scariest thing to do in this business, and it's the most painful thing for people to do. But successful people do what others aren't willing to do. It's not that they love doing it, it's that they're willing to do whatever it takes. They're willing to do what you need to do, what's necessary. And so understand the red and green time, the first thing. The second thing is in this business, training doesn't work, work trains. Walt Disney says the best way to get started is to start doing. You notice there's lots of little questions I'm asked that I still don't know the answer to. I'm not the person that's going to go spend 10 hours and learn everything. You need to know what you need to know, and everybody's different. And I tell everybody that. I'm not making about me, I'm making about them. So whatever you need to know, you need to know. One person may need, 2 weeks of due diligence, whereas another person needs a week. For me, I'm a high-level guy. What's the history of the industry? What's the company's sales? What's the fallback plan? What are the products, high level? I need to know that they're natural and they're good products. I won't remember all the details. I need it for my own confidence, because I know that I can get people interested. I know I can get preferred customers, retail customers, distributors interested in this, but I need that information for confidence. It's like, everything we do, we just need confidence. When you drive a car, you're having confidence that the steering wheel's not going to go out, that the tires aren't going to go out. You don't necessarily understand how everything works. When you turn the light on, you have confidence you're not going to get electrocuted, and you have confidence that the light bulb's going to go on. You don't necessarily know how to explain it, but you can sell to somebody that it works still without explaining it all. And so that's how I think. And so when you guys are starting this high level, and again, this is more appealing to people that have some sort of experience or leaders. If you're brand new to this business, you're going to really lock arms with a leader inside your organization, and the leader is going to help you, and you're really going to introduce your Fab Five. You're going to find your 5 best customers. You're going to start out, you're going to find your 5 business partners you want to go into this business. In the end, you'll have more customers than you will distributors. I'm talking about just starting out in the business. If you're someone that has experience at the beginning, of course, ideally, you'd rather just work with leaders, but your organization isn't big enough. So at the beginning, you'll spend 60% of your time with the 40 percenters, your best leaders, your best 40 percenters. Eventually, it will be 70-30, so 70% of your time with your top 30%. As your organization grows, you'll become more effective. It will be 80-20. I'm about 95% of my time is with the 5 percenters, the 5% leaders. My goal is to be within a year at 99% of my time with the 1 percenters. When I started this, even though I had the skill set after doing this for years, I still, even when you start, you can't ever start 99-1, You still have to identify who those leaders are, and you have to cultivate an organization. You're building what I call momentum. So think of a big boulder or a big snowball, and the snowball, you start out with a little snowball, and you build that, and your hands get cold, so you put it down, and then you start building it again, your hands get cold even though it's bigger, and then all of a sudden you start pushing it, and you stop because your hands are cold, and you push it again and push it again, and you push it again, and you get tired and think, man, is this thing ever going to go? And it keeps getting bigger though, so that gives you hope and confidence even though it's slow progress. All of a sudden you push it down the mountain and it starts an avalanche. You can't even stop it even if you wanted to. You've created this massive momentum in this organization. You've created this massive leverage. Think of massive width with these leaders as you're creating this avalanche, where even if you removed yourself, you would still have an incredible organization. But it takes time to get to that point. And so at the beginning, you're going to use efficiency more. At the beginning, you're going to do a lot more trainings. You're going to do a lot more one-on-ones, meetings, phone calls as you're giving the opportunity to people, as you're learning the opportunity. And I mean the beginning if you're a leader. If you're a brand new person, you can't do that. You're going to use the tools. But if you're a leader who's been in this business that isn't where you want to be, that's a different story. I'm going to use more of me pitching a lot more people, because I feel like I can get out of 10 people, I can get 7 or 8 out of 10 very, very interested. As you have more success in this business, your efficiency is going to go down and your leverage is going to go up. So now I'm going to have everybody watch a Google Hangout before they get on with me. And so maybe only 3 out of 10 are interested, but I'm reaching hundreds and thousands of people. And so at the beginning, it's really just deciding who you are. So if you're new, don't get overwhelmed. If you're new, you're going to use the Google Hangouts, and you're going to use one of your leaders in your organization, and they're going to help you to have success in this business. For someone who has a year of experience, maybe 6 months if you're good, really solid, or a year plus, then you want to take the bull by the horns. And I want to let you guys know that compensation plan or compensation always catches up to 2 things: skill set and effort. But it's always massively delayed. Not always, but most of the time. So you may feel like you're worth XYZ, but that doesn't kick into play for 2 years afterwards. That's one of the most frustrating parts. But where else can you create a residual income like you can here? Where else can you create an income where you're empowering other people, you're helping other people? So that's what I would give you guys as far as who you spend your time with. As far as what percent of your time you're going to spend via training, talking to new people, I would spend at the beginning 90% of your time talking to new people, and 10% on the red time studying. And I say 90% talking to new people because you're going to have them on Hangouts, you're going to have them meeting with your leaders, and as you do that, that's the best way you're actually getting trained, like an internship, because you're actually doing it. That's the best way to learn. You'll learn more doing that than you would studying anything, and they'll ask you questions you don't know, and so you'll ask your leader, and your leader will tell you. So you're really getting trained while you're doing that. But you should spend 90% of your time talking to new people. How do you match energy? You can't resurrect the dead. It's easier to give birth and resurrect the dead in this industry. So if you're talking with somebody and you're working with them and you set goals and you're doing your best to help them, if they're not matching that energy, you match whatever energy they're giving you. So if they're going really slow, you go slow with them. If they're going fast, you go fast with them. You run at their pace. Instead of, I see people that take walkers and they try to push them and make them sprint with them. If they're walking, do your best to get them to sprint, but it's their business, it's their goals, and you empower them, you give them vision. But in the end, if they say they don't want to do it and they're not going to sprint with you, that's okay. Let them walk. Maybe that's what they want. And go find a sprinter. Quit trying to make everybody fit into your goals. Instead, focusing on stretching their goals and making them better. I did at the beginning where I focused too much on me, and I tried to get everybody to be sprinters, and they weren't. Amateurs convince, experts sift and sort. You guys aren't looking to really motivate people. You're looking to find motivated people. That's what you're doing in this business. So, what other question, David?
Yeah, I love it, absolutely. And I think it's so important that you run with people who want to who really want to work too, because that desire is, I mean, I think it's contagious too. You know, you get feeding off them, they get feeding off you, and you just get this nice little partnership going. That's why I always run here with Scotty. We've been together for like 2 years now. It's been a good relationship, Scott.
Sure has.
So I guess the last thing I want to know too, and then we'll open up to these guys, maybe some of the people that are actually on the webinar here that can speak want to talk too. So guys, gear up for the next question after Rob answers this one. But what I'm wanting to know is this myth of how network marketing isn't sales when it is sales. And I don't want to let my people think that we're not selling. And the most important thing that I learned from you, Rob, is that we need to sell ourselves. That's why we bought into Janess, I think, is because meeting the CEO, meeting the CVO, meeting you and Lance, what gave us the confidence to come in, it was the individuals. The products did what they said they were going to do. Totally fine. The products sold themselves when we demonstrated them. And the company's numbers look fantastic, of course. But can you explain the importance of selling yourself and what that really entails for our members looking at this?
Everything in life is sales. My kids sell themselves. My daughter sold to me today how she needed fruit snacks. When you're going to date somebody, you're selling yourself. When you want a job, you're selling yourself. Everything in life is sales. The misinterpretation is nobody wants to be a sleazy, hardcore, hard closer salesperson, and we're not that. Teachers, real estate agents, coaches, they crush it in this industry, and I'm generalizing because they're relationship oriented. They're not hard closers. Many times, guys, and if you're one of these people, I'm not trying to rip on you, many times the people I've seen struggle the most are, people that are salesmen or women, because they're used to hard pitch, hard sales, and they're used to quick fix money. And this is back end money. This is not as much front end money. It's creating a residual income. And so everything's sales. It's just, how are you selling? And I tell everybody, use your authenticity. Sell yourself on who you are. Sell truth. Don't sell hype. Sell dreams. Don't sell hype. There's a huge difference. And that's what I'm doing. Everybody's buying a dream when they buy this business. And the dream is different for each person. For one person, it's a product experience. It's to lose weight. It's to gain muscle. It's to look younger. It's to clean up their acne. Honestly, like, everyone's different. For someone, it could be to make a car payment. It could be to get out of debt. It could be for a family vacation. It could be traveling with friends for humanitarian trips. Everybody's different. For another person, it could be making an insane amount of money, and what that represents to them. So everyone's buying a dream. As they're buying the dream, they're looking at, is it a solid company? Are the products legitimate? Because you don't have a great company without legitimate products. And after that, if those things check out, the world follows leadership. Families run on leadership. Businesses run on leadership. Sports run on leadership. Everything in this world revolves around leadership, everything that's successful. So they're looking at you and your team. Don't be freaked out if you don't feel like you're that leader yet. That's why this is a journey. And they're saying, would I want to follow this team? And so at the beginning when I started this industry, I was selling my team and I was selling my commitment. I hadn't had any success in this business because people were like, I've never had any success. How do I have any credibility? I'm like, why is it always about you? Don't make yourself the issue. So I was selling my team, my leaders, the company, and then I was selling my vision. My vision was, I'm going to do this and this and this. I'm going to help this amount of people. I'm going to, and I sold my dreams, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And it may take me 5, 7, 10 years to accomplish this, but my goal is in 2 years. So I sold my commitment and my dream, and that brought credibility. It's the world loves boldness. It makes people curious. It's very contagious. So you have to be a massive visionary. You don't have to be a hyper to be a visionary. I just said it in a matter-of-fact way to people, and people believed me because they knew who I was. As you become better, then yes, you have more credibility with what you say, and obviously success brings more success in this business. So you got to be the person. Eventually, your goal should be to transition from always selling somebody else to person XYZ in your organization, is you want people in your group to say, when they say, who's your leader? You want them to say you. That's when you've arrived. And when you've truly arrived in your group is when people say, who's your leader? And they start to mention people in your organization. That's when you've arrived. Like for me now, I know I've arrived when somebody says, David's my freaking awesome leader, or so-and-so's my leader. Because now it's not about me, I've empowered other people. So the first thing is becoming a follower. That's when you start out and you borrow other people's credibility, you sell your commitment. The second thing is becoming a leader of followers. So you still use your team, but you also can use a lot more of your own credibility. Empower self, empower others is what this business is. And then the third tier is becoming a leader of leaders, to the point where everybody's got a leader that they're attached to in your organization, and it's not you. That's when you really have arrived in this business. That's when your ego's out of the way and it's about other people. And so you guys want to become that person. You guys got to have a chip on your shoulder and say, I want to speak more. I'm a team player, but eventually, I want to be able to hold some of my own trainings. And you still have your leader's help until you're to that point, and then you still have them get on and help, but you want to transition, and then eventually you want to empower people in your group where they're doing the same thing, and you say, okay, I'll get on once a month, but it's time for you to step up in doing this. So does that answer your question, David?
Absolutely, I love it. Got some gold there. Scott, you like that?
That's very good.
Very, very cool. And now with that, Rob, that's really all I have. Does anybody else here real quick that's actually inside our chat have any other questions? Do you guys want to unmute your mics real quick and ask a question for Rob while we have him on here? For the sake of the webinar, for the sake of our other teams?
Yeah, I had a quick question, if you don't mind me chiming in. My name's John Toole. I'm up in Maine, and I'm not on your guys' team, but I saw the link, and I figured I would jump on. Rob, just a quick little housekeeping thing. Do you have a pre-built PowerPoint for the opportunity presentation and like a little quick start training PowerPoint that you guys are using also? We're all on the same page.
Yeah, so have you gone to the genyoungtools.com or genyoungtraining.com?
Yep, and I saw the first 48 PDF. I wasn't able to find an actual downloadable PowerPoint.
Everything will be there as far as it getting started.
Okay.
What we also have that we send out, and we'll send it out to you, but it's in the leadership chat, and I know you're on that. But it's probably just so far in there with so many messages, is we have an exact document that needs to be updated with what you do in an at-home presentation, and there's a PowerPoint, so you can send a message to Josh Noble, and he can get that to you. We're trying to update the videos right now, obviously, as we just had new videos that haven't been released, but we saw them with the 2 from convention, and so those will be integrated into our videos, and then the presentation will be adapted. But yeah, that's what right now Noble's working on. I'm working on. I just sent him a whole updated doc on that. We also have the document that Josh Noble, I believe, sent out that has the bullet points for doing the opportunity calls.
Yeah, I saw that. I just got that from Richard.
So we do have all the other stuff as well that's being updated, and he can send that to you. And our goal is usually cultures take 3 years to develop. Because this group has so much experience, I think it'll take us about a year to dial in. And so every month we're trying to keep adding to it. Eventually we'll have a once-a-month Saturday training. Eventually we'll have every 3 months a big training that people can come to, where we'll do a full day for everybody. We'll tier our weekly leadership calls more and more, where it's harder and harder to qualify. Just everybody's new now, so we're keeping it easier. And then we'll create one-on-one personal calls with Lance and myself for any of the leaders that are above Sapphire. We'll probably do a lot less than that for now, but here within 2 months, that's what it will be. So all that structure is just fun to see as we'll slowly add piece by piece. So good question.
Perfect. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Very cool. And anybody else?
Yeah, quick question, Rob. So I have a few people that I've been talking to that...
Can you put the phone closer to your face? I can't see it.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just kidding,
Just
man.
making sure you can hear me. I'm pulling a Rob
Oh,
Sperry
I
right
can
now.
hear
Awesome.
you. Oh, I was like, I can just see your nose right now. I'm like looking up your nose, looking at some bugs, but you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just have some people that, are kind of scarred from, what happened with Vima, and I know
From
uh,
past experiences, yeah.
yeah, not sorry, excuse me, my prior company, and there's some people that I really want to run with, and they know that they'd be good, but they're kind of just sitting there like, is this worth my time? Again, we all put, our heart and soul into a company.
Yeah.
And, that's just a tough point. What would you recommend, me doing, for certain leaders like that are
Yeah.
kind of
So,
sitting back right now?
so a couple things. Number one, we're not targeting anybody. I know
Yeah,
everybody's connected and they have friends, and friends are reaching out to you and different things, and that's different. I'm a firm believer that one, we never talk bad about other, and I know you don't. This is more just speaking to everybody. We never talk bad about other companies. There's no need. There's enough to go around. We never focus on targeting other companies. I understand that everybody's an independent contractor, and I don't believe there's such thing as stealing, because I think people are big boys and girls and they can make their own decisions. I do believe there's unethical recruiting, and for us, it's always we focus on us and who we are. We don't talk about other groups or companies or anything like that. With that said, I know you're going to have a lot of friends that you're connected to that are, that are reaching out to you that want a home. My suggestion is always, and this is a general suggestion. I'm not even talking your situation. I'm talking to, this is something that people can listen to years down the road. Just in general, is everybody makes their own decisions. Amateurs convince, experts sift and sort. So it doesn't matter if they're in another company, not whatever. If they're asking questions, like, you do your best to give vision to people, but at some point, either they're in or they're out. And if they're not in, that's okay. We love them. Maybe they're never in. Maybe they, maybe just share ideas forever. Maybe they're in a year from now. Maybe they're in 2 weeks from now. But don't waste your time on talking to the same old people.
Yeah.
The best way to generate interest is by going out and crushing it with the people that are motivated, instead of motivating some of these people. You'll find some of these people that have been in the industry, regardless if they had a bad experience or not, they're burnt out.
Yeah.
You look at Holton Buggs, when he went out and crushed it, his business was all from scratch, 100%. In my before we had the merger with Jeunesse, with Mint, contrary to what most people know, 100% of my growth was all organic, not 99%. Not one person was from a previous organization of mine. I went 100% growth. And now I've attracted a lot of people, but that's not what I'm focusing on. That's not my goal. It's just like attracts like, and if you do the right things, I feel like you attract the right people. And so that's what I say you first and foremost. The next thing is if you focus on who Jeunesse is to anyone, regardless of which company or not in the industry, because there's a lot of people that don't have confidence in the industry that aren't. Look at it this way, man. High level, bullet points. You tell me how many companies that are billion-dollar companies that have been shut down that are product-oriented. Not one in the network marketing industry.
Sure.
So, if people want to operate off fear, then they're going to be scared in the ocean that a shark's going to bite them or kill them, when that happens to, on average, 5 people a year. You have a greater chance of dying from ants, statistically, than you do sharks. But people operate off of worst case scenario. So that's just to put it in perspective. Everything else, it's just never happened before. And there's been lots of companies. So if people want to operate off of that, that's I'm not going to invest in Apple, because what happens if it goes under? You're never going to have success. And a lot of these big companies have been regulated, and almost every company is regulated. But and that's just normal. That's part of the process. Obviously, you guys have a situation where there's a former company that I feel like has been unfairly targeted. That's my personal opinion, by the FTC. And that's unfortunate, and that is in the rarest of rare circumstances. But in the end, that's why you focus on providing value for other people. You focus on doing what's best. You focus on building your brand, because true wealth is ability. It's not what you have in the bank. Worst case scenario, if an earthquake happened or whatever, and something happened and it crumbled the current company we're in, and we had to start all over again, I firmly believe we'd do it much better and much more effective and faster. Is that the goal? Of course not. You know, the goal is this is it forever. But what I'm telling you is that, you know, focus on true wealth visibility. It's not what's in the bank. And if you focus on that and you focus on, you know, faith rather than fear, and I'm not having a religious talk, what I'm talking about is just life principles. You can't operate off of fear. So that would be the answer to that question. So,
Thanks.
hey guys, I got to jump off. I'd love to do this again. We'll get on and do it. David, you can get on and edit this, and then we'll go from there, and make sure we do another one. I'll be on a call later tonight as well to do a training for you guys. So thanks so much for being on, and David, thanks for getting this thing set up, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Rob. God bless.
Okay, I'll see ya.
Hey guys, what he was just talking about right there for everybody else who's on here, there's a 9 o'clock call with him and Luke Hessler, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You guys are more than welcome to plug that in. We'll post it on the pages too. We'll see you guys then. Take care, guys. Peace.